Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I am your yarn host Jennifer and today is Monday. And we know this is the same routine we do every Monday. I come on and I tell you what I have made in the past 7 days, give or take a day or two. Usually it's about the past 5 days because I don't like to record on the weekends. I don't like to work on the weekends, but this week it's been the past 6 days. What have I made? And really, I made all of this in about the equivalent of 3 days because I was really sick for 2 of those days. And one of the projects I worked on for the other day, I'm not going to show you because I have not really put any work into it since you saw it last. So, I'm going to move some things up because this is going to be the episode of the amigurumis because apparently that's what I did this week. Now, the crazy part is, I don't like amigurumi. I love amigurumis. I don't like making them. They hurt my hands. I'm just going to move some yarn out of the way. I'm surrounded by stuff right now, and I'm feeling very closed in. There's boxes here. There's a chair here with yarn on it that I never put away from Joann's. Also, at the end of the video, I will give a life update, health update, all that jazz. I'm drinking water today. A lot of my projects and yarn are in my very cute Aldi bag that I got from Aldi. And I really, really love the colors of this bag because, in case you don't know, coral is one of my favorite colors. And Aldi is killing it with the Aldi merch. I'm just saying. Alright, so, a couple of things to note. These are noteworthy things. I'm just going to hang that right there. I don't like blanket yarn. I don't like most chenille yarns. So some of this yarn was bought with the specific purpose that I was going to make amigurumis for Easter for my children. When I say my children, my son is 10 and my daughter is going to be 20. They both still get an Easter basket, and I also am making a third basket for my daughter's boyfriend, and one of the amigurumi specifically was made for him, and I will show that towards the end because those are the ones that I'm the most proud of. Now, I'm going to caveat this to say, don't like blanket yarn or chenille yarn a whole lot. It's a texture thing for me. I also am very picky. Like if I'm going to work with a chenille style yarn, it absolutely cannot fall apart. So I'm going to also give you opinions on the yarn that I used and tell you which yarns I like and which yarns I hate and which yarns I don't want to ever use again. I have feelings, okay? I particularly do not like blanket yarn from Bernat. So you will not see any of that because I can't even touch it in the store. It feels dirty. It makes my hands feel dirty and I don't know how to... It's not actually dirty, but for some reason it makes my hands feel powdery dirty. I don't know. I'm also going to say I did not follow a pattern for anything. The last thing I show you, I watched a tutorial, but I didn't follow the pattern that he did in the tutorial. I just watched the tutorial to get an idea of how he made it. I will link him below though. How I made it was based off of what I saw in the tutorial, but I absolutely changed a lot of things and I did not at all keep track of his numbers or my numbers, and I didn't use a stitch marker and I didn't use a pattern and I didn't count anything, and that's just how I make amigurumi because I find amigurumi to be tedious. With that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so we'll pull the bag back up. I showed you guys last week I bought this Posh yarn from Big Twist because it was fluorescent orange and I found it to be gorgeous, and my intention was to make a bunny rabbit, and I did not in fact make a bunny rabbit out of this. I will show you, that's one of the last things I will show you I made. I love this yarn and I wish I had discovered it earlier. I wouldn't mind, I saw it one time they had a hot pink in this yarn. I wouldn't mind, I would just love that. But I don't like this style yarn, so I missed out on the Posh thing. I really did, and I'm a little sad about that. But I really, really enjoyed the Posh yarn. To me, this is the best amigurumi yarn that I have tried to date. So, Posh. Yeah. Alright. I also have this which I also bought at Joann's. So this is the big twist. I don't remember. I have this much left over. I also used some of the pink yarn. We have a lot, okay? This is, I don't remember because I don't see a label. This is, I don't know, something from Big Twist, okay? This is the Minikins from Premier Yarns. And I use this to make my snakes. But I also used a little bit of this mixed with the Parfait from Premier. And these are okay. These are not my favorite. And I know I am gung-ho I'm gung-ho Premier Yarns. Gung-ho. Their Parfait is not my favorite. It's kind of low ranking, especially next to the Posh from Big Twist. This is much lower ranking on my scale. It's really soft and it works up into a beautiful project, but working with it, it's a little on the thin side. I like my yarn to be a little denser for amigurumis. And it just wasn't my favorite. But what I really, really loved and preferred over the Parfait, which is crazy because the Parfait is their #1 selling, is the Parfait, or the Premier Basics Chenille multicolored, which I don't have any more of it because I used it all up, but it looks like this. Okay. And then I also used some of the pink yarn from Hobby Lobby that I used for the booby tutorial. And I realized I don't really like this yarn either. And when I went to Hobby Lobby to buy more, I steered clear of that because this stuff was falling apart on me. So what I found at Hobby Lobby was the Cozy Occasion. And I bought 2 colors of this. I bought 2 in this olive green color, and then I bought a multicolored, which is in the other room. I haven't used it yet. For a specific project. So, if you're keeping track of all of that, Posh was the #1. The Chenille Multi from Premier Yarns is my #2. My #3 is whatever this one is from Big Twist. And then followed is every other yarn. There is leftover fluff. I stuffed my bag with fluff so that I could carry the fluff around with me because I have a big giant box. And I say fluff, but fluff is... This fluff is different from the fluff that I spin and turn into yarn. This is the stuff that fills pillows. Okay, it's polyfill. Polyfill is what it's called. Alright. This is a bag of amigurumis for Easter. And that's what it is. We're gonna start with this guy because he's the one I made first. And again, I'm gonna hang my bag of magic tricks on the handle. Okay, so I made this guy and I'm in love with him. I think he's so cute. And his nose and his eyes, his snout, not the plastic nose specifically, but his snout and his eyes, I think are what really made him. This is made with the Premier Basics Chenille Multi because, let me show you. This is an old bunny rabbit and I don't like the way this one turned out. Do you see the difference in the faces? He's cute and I love him, but I don't like the way his face looked, and I think this solved the problem. A combination of these cute little cartoon eyes and adding a snout on him so he has a little thing, you know? I think it made all the difference in the world. And I also gave him extra big ears. He kind of reminds me of a kangaroo. And I don't know why. He is very much a bunny, but he's giving kangaroo vibes to me. So, these are... They're no-sew bunny rabbits in the fact that the only thing I really had to sew on was his ears and his nostril, like his mouth. Ooh, I'm feeling nauseous. Hang on. Give that a second to pass. I don't have a pattern or tutorial, and I don't do amigurumi tutorials. I'm not gonna do an amigurumi tutorial, don't ask, because I don't like the counting and keeping track of the counting. I also, you will notice a lot of these amigurumis are fat because I like to make them extra fat and chunky so that they're extra squeezable and lovable, but also representation, because I'm a fat girl and my family are all kind of chunky. And, well, not my son. My son's a stick. But I like the chunky. I like representation. I want to see a stuffed animal that looks like me. That's why when I bought, she's over there. I bought a mermaid. I had a mermaid special made for myself from Sandy at Crochet Canada. And I asked her to make me a fat mermaid, and she did, and she's beautiful. I like adding the chunk to my stuffies. I think they're cuter. I think it's representation for myself. It makes me feel better, you know. So I didn't make him this week. He's older. I made him a couple weeks ago. These are real basic. Real basic. There's not anything fancy to any of my amigurumis. I have a basic understanding of how to make shapes and how to use increases and decreases to create shapes. And that's where all of these kind of came from, is just inside my head from understanding that. Okay, so, and there was a time I was terrified to make amigurumi. I remember the first amigurumi I made was a Lilo N Stitches pattern for a horse. And I made a horse and I made a unicorn. And I told her I was so afraid to make that. And she's like, why? She literally like was, why were you scared of that? Because I was scared I was going to screw up. Like, my biggest fear in life is to make mistakes and screw up and look stupid. That's how my brain works. But yeah, anyway, so made him. And like I said, the only thing that sewed on was his face and his ears. He's all one piece. I think he's cute and unique. And his eyes, I got these eyes on Amazon. I will try to remember to link them below. The cartoon, you'll see these eyes again on the last project I did, because I love the cartoon effect of these eyes. They make them look more alive than this. So, with that, he's the first one I made. Then, I believe I made this one next. And this is, he has no eyes. He is kind of, the inspiration I used for him was kind of a peep, but he looks more like a bowling pin with bunny ears on him. But he's a very cute, lovey, squishy. You can tell it's a bunny. It kind of looks like a peep. And again, there's no pattern. I didn't watch anybody. I just did this from my own imagination. Really like this yarn. Like I said, this is the yarn from Joann's. I have enough left to probably make another bunny rabbit. Really liked him. And he looks like he's a K. He looks like he's a K. He's sporting the K. Alright, so I made that. Then, I believe, and these are out of order because I made this one. And this is the basic chenille from Premier. And again, he's copping a lean. I probably should have stuffed him a little more. He's another inspiration. He's given the peace sign. See how that's a little bit longer than this one. He's peep inspired, bowling pin inspired. I just thought these were really cute and really fun, and they're really cute to go in an Easter basket. And it was really easy. And again, this is no-sew. I made the 2 ears and then I crocheted them together and I worked it all in one piece. I really like the way the yarn pooled on him. I think he's so pretty. And again, peep inspired. Instead of putting a candy chocolate rabbit, I'm putting a peep in there. Then I got real creative, okay? I'm gonna pull out all these littles because these are probably, oh, I do have this much left over from the basic chenille, which is not enough to do anything with. I also pulled out this yarn from, this was in a line brand Santa sack or one of the Lion Brand sacks. And it is really, really thick fur. And I decided to use this as well. Alright, so I had a little bit of the leftover chenille from this guy. So I'm like, alright, well, let's keep using it. So I pulled out the pink from the booby pillow. And I mixed it in. And I made a cute little turtle. He's got his little tail, his head. He almost looks like a sun. Little turtle. No pattern. And also, this was a no-sew situation. I just kind of crocheted everything and then, like, I crocheted it onto. So I made the shell. I crocheted the legs and the head and the tail on the bottom of the shell. And then I crocheted this part from the outside in, doing decreases. And kind of just sealed everything in. So I made this cute little turtle. And then I still had a little bit of yarn left over, so I made a little whale. Little man really likes him. Did I put his eyes on crooked? Nope, his tail's crooked. There we go. It's a little whale. Or a fish. Again, no tutorial. Now, my idea with the Posh Orange yarn was to make a bunny. And while I was doing all of these other things, an ad for Lion Brand showed up in my Instagram and then on my Facebook, and then I kept seeing it over and over again, where people were making chicks and eggs. And they were super cute. And I was like, okay, but I kind of need a fluorescent orange chicken, right? Like a little chicken. So, here's my egg. And I know the egg is not perfect. Okay, got our little egg. And inside is a cute little chickie with big giant eyes. A little tail. Isn't that cute? And he has a big house. So the white in the egg was the white from the outside of the Minikins, which this is a Premier Yarn cake. And I ran out of the white, not realizing there was still white on the inside. I could have cut it and pulled it out. I got the bottom half of the egg and I was like, oh no, I'm out of yarn. I'm out of white. I thought that was going to be enough for an egg. I came in here digging, knowing that I don't have chenille yarn, knowing that I don't have blanket yarn, knowing that I don't buy those, I don't store them, and the only reason I have some of these yarns is because Premier Yarn sent me a box. But I forgot that Premier Yarn also sent me a ball of the Parfait Chunky. So I had just enough to make the rest of the egg and encapsulate him in his cute little egg home. The top's a little pointy, but I mean, it's cute. It's a little egg. Boop. Boop. Isn't he cute? It made me so happy. I don't know why. That's so cute. So then I pulled out the fur yarn and I made another chicken, the little baby chickie. But this chickie looks more like an owl. And he's in his own egg too. And so, you ready? Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? So, I made another little chickie. That's a little baby chickie. And his eyes sunk, and I didn't put any color in his eyes. I just, because with this chickie, I put gold behind his eyes, so his eyes are gold sparkly. With this chickie, I didn't put anything behind it, so it's just clear. And so it looks like he has pink eyes that match his beautiful little furry bits. And because he's so furry, his eyes kind of sunk into the fur. I just think he's so stinking cute. Look at them big eyes. And they look so stinking cute in the little egg. It's so cute. And of course, if you wanted to. You can make the top of the egg even smaller if you wanted, so that it sits on more like a hat. You could do that too. And then this could just be one piece and he's just always in his egg. But yeah, I thought my kids would get a kick out of that. I actually had a lot of fun making the chicky eggs. And again, it was inspired by a post that Lion Brand kept posting over and over and over again. And I was like, I can do that. Because chickens are easy. The eggs are easy. I'm so in love with these chickies, and I don't know if they're actually going to go to my kids or not, because I kind of want to keep them forever, but those are my favorite. Alright, now, as we're moving along, I was getting more and more into this, and I was getting more daring and bold with my designs. And so I decided, because I used the orange in a chickie instead of a bunny, because I bought it with the intention of making a bunny. And I still have enough to make a bunny. I could absolutely make a bunny. I'd probably make a couple more. But I was like, I saw something at a, last year, we went to, and you could probably watch the video. We went to Dances with Wool, and I think it's in Midlothian, which is the Richmond metro area. We went to Dances with Wool every year has done a garage sale for yarn, like a yard sale. So people, I don't know if you have to sign up. I don't know how any of that works. Vendors, people that go to the store, like patrons of their store, set up tables of their yarn stash and they sell it at yard sale prices. I've gotten amazing yarn at amazing deals at this yard sale. We've gone twice now. And the last year when we went, there was a young girl who made amigurumi, and she had a brontosaurus dinosaur on her table, and it was coral. And I mentioned at the beginning of the video, coral is like one of my favorite colors, and I wanted the dinosaur. I was going to buy it. And she wouldn't sell it to me because she said she was holding on to that specific one for someone else. They offered to buy it. They were supposed to come back and buy it. I was like, okay, well, like, I'm here with cash. I want the dinosaur. She wouldn't sell it to me. And so I never forgot about that dinosaur, and I never forgot that I wanted a dinosaur. And I'm like, okay, but a dinosaur in fluorescent orange would be super cool. So I watched a tutorial on YouTube from a content creator. His name is Zach with exclamation points. I will link his tutorial below. I'm going to say this straight off the bat. If you are not good with amigurumi, you've never made an amigurumi, you don't understand the basics of amigurumi, this tutorial is not for you. He moves really fast in the design of it, and I did not follow his pattern. Okay, I watched the tutorial and I saw what he did, and I kind of went off my own numbers. I didn't follow any of his numbers. I didn't follow most of his directions. I just watched how the basic construction of the dinosaur went. So if you want to create your own dinosaur, I will link him below, because that's where I saw how to make one. And then I did my own thing. Okay. So I made a fluorescent orange brontosaurus. Now, he's not perfect, and he is extra fat. He's got fat rolls. That was intended. Okay. I very specifically made sure and he's got a chunky butt. Messed up a little bit on the tail because I had to flip it. When I start working in the round, it always goes inside out, and so I forgot to flip it back right side out, so I was crocheting on the inside of the tail, and so I had to flip it inside out, and it got real like wonky after that point. But I am in love with him. I think this is the cutest thing I have ever made. And these again are the cartoon eyes that came in this pack from Amazon. And I think that they are absolutely perfect for dinosaur eyes. It's so stinking cute. I love her so much. She is mine. She is absolutely not going anywhere. She is mine. She's going to stay in here with me. I'm really proud of her. I had so much fun making her that I want to make more of these. And I have the design memorized. I know exactly what I did and how I did it. I know how to adjust things because I'm tweaking as I go. There's a couple of things I want to change a little bit more after the next one that I'm going to show you. So after I made this, I knew I had to make one for my daughter's boyfriend because he likes dinosaurs. And like I said in the beginning of the video, I am making him an Easter basket. He doesn't know I'm making him one. And while you're watching this, he's probably going to be over my house actually receiving it. But isn't that the cutest thing ever? I just love that. Alright, so like I said, I have just shown you my entire stash of chenille style yarns. It's all sitting here on my desk. There's bits and bobs and scraps left over pretty much. I wanted to make him a dinosaur, and I'm like, I don't have any more chenille style yarn. And I even looked at maybe making him one out of the Bernat Forever fleece because this is a polyester yarn. It's bulky weight. I worked up a little tiny piece of it, and this is so rope-like. It does not make good amigurumis, in my humble opinion. So that was an actual fail. So like, what am I going to do? I need to actually go to the store, and I already know Joann's is out because I know what Joann's has. I would like some more of the Posh yarn, but all they had was the orange and maybe red when I was there last time. And so I was like, okay, Joann's is out. Michael's never has anything new. And I know that recently we went to Michael's when I got the grab bags, the boxes. They had a chenille style yarn there that was pastel-y, like very Eastery with like little speckles on it, and it was pretty, but it is not at all what I was looking for. I wanted an actual realistic looking dinosaur color. I didn't want pastels. I'm making it for a 20-year-old boy. Like, I'm not I don't want the cutesy fun colors. And also, I've also said at the beginning of this video, I'm very picky with my chenille style or blanket style yarns. Texture is a problem. So I'm like, Michael's is already out. I don't even want to go to Michael's. I'm not a fan of Michael's to begin with. And I certainly did not have time to order yarn. So I'm like, that leaves me with Hobby Lobby. Not a huge fan of Hobby Lobby either, but we were already out. And I was like, I need to stop at Hobby Lobby just so I can try to find some appropriate yarn for a dinosaur. And if this ain't a dinosaur color, I don't know what is. So like I said, this is the Cozy Occasion from Yarn Bee. And the color olive. This is $4.99 regular. That's a really good deal. It's 30% off of $4.99. I didn't realize that. I got 3 balls. I bought 2 of the green because I was afraid these are only 101 yards. I was afraid 1 ball would not be enough to make the green dinosaur, and I was correct in the fact that I got to his head and ran out of yarn. So I don't have enough in here unless I make a much smaller dinosaur, which I could do. I could make a smaller dinosaur. And then I also bought a multicolored one that actually is similar in colors to this, but it's just a little different. It's in the other room. We don't need to see all the yarn I buy, right? So I bought 3 balls of this at 30% off. So I made a much bigger dinosaur. He's not, well, he is bigger. He's definitely bigger. But he's bigger because this yarn is so much thicker. So for him, because the Posh yarn is real thin, I had to do an extra row on his feet and one row less on his feet because the yarn is such, there's a huge difference in thickness of the yarns. So it made a big difference in his size. Just that small thing of using a different yarn made him a lot bigger. He is, once again, not perfect. And again, did not follow anything. I just made him off of what I remembered how to construct a dinosaur. I did mess up on his neck in the fact that I wanted his neck to lean forward. And I know to make his neck lean forward, I need to put increases on one side and decreases on the other, and I reversed it. So I actually put the decreases on this side and the increases on this side, which actually makes his head lean backwards. But it's fine. But I know that next time, if I want the head to cock forward, we got to put the decreases on the inside here and the increases on the outside, and it will make his head lean more forward. Now with the dinosaur, I should say, this is all no sew with the exception of the tail. The tail has been sewn onto his body, and he was fairly easy to make. He was a lot of fun to make. This yarn feels more like Bernat blanket yarn than I would like it to feel. So the yarn from Joann's, the Big Twist, does not at all have that dry, like powdery, like it feels like it's leaving a powdery residue on my hands. Whereas the green one, it feels like that a little bit. So this is not my favorite, but I do like it better than the other one from Hobby Lobby, the Cozy, whatever it was called, the Cozy Occasion. No, Snugs and Kisses. Snugs and Kisses is softer. It falls apart a little bit when you're trying to like do magic ring and all that. So, yeah. Finished that. That is everything I have made this week, and considering I was in bed for 2 days, very, very sick, that is a lot. But the turtle, the fish, the eggs were all under an hour to make. This bunny was under an hour to make. This bunny took 2 days to make because I stopped after I got so far because I was frustrated, and then my arms started hurting real bad. I'm going to say this about amigurumi. Amigurumi is painful to me, which is why you will not see me make it very often on the channel. My hands kill me after making amigurumi because I make the stitches really tight. I'm working with a smaller hook than the yarn recommends so that you can get those tight stitches. And also, when I was making the brontosauruses specifically, when you work on the head, like your arms are above like this while you're crocheting, while you're spinning and crocheting and spinning. So my shoulders hurt real bad. I had to take so many breaks when doing his neck because he's way tall and I was going up higher and higher. So I got a lot done, but a lot of these didn't. The brontosauruses took me 4 or 5 hours each because there's a lot of stitches in that, and there's a lot of just doing fine adjustments to specifically get the fat rolls on her. And he's chunky too, but I left the fat rolls out of him. I left him more smooth bodied. And the only thing I really did a mistake on is I wanted his neck to be more forward, but because it's all one piece, if I made the head separate, which I could, and I sewed it on, I would sew it more like right here so his head was already cocked forward. But I like that that's a no-sew design, and there are a ton of tutorials that are all similar to this on the internet. All you gotta do is search out amigurumi chicken and an egg, amigurumi bunny, amigurumi brontosaurus, amigurumi dinosaur, amigurumi turtle, amigurumi whale, fish, whatever you want to call that. And so yeah, that is what I have made, created, designed, crocheted this week. Now all the stuffies are going to go back in the Aldi bag minus all of the extra stuff. These are probably my favorite next to the dinosaurs. I had a good time. I enjoyed myself. I want to actually sit today and make another amigurumi, but I don't think I'm going to have time to make another dinosaur. And I don't know if I have enough yarn to make another dinosaur. I might be able to make one out of this, but again, I don't know. And now I'm wondering, do I need to actually go and... Here's my thing. I want to go to like 3 Joann's stores today and just see if I can find some more of that posh yarn because I really like it. And it would be nice to have if I decide to make more of those dinosaurs. Maybe I can talk my husband into that. What do you think? I think he'll go for it. We'll see. We'll see. It was a shock to me that I enjoyed that yarn so much, and it was a shock to me that I enjoyed the amigurumi so much. because it's not my thing. Yes, it's I really hate designs where you have to sew the pieces on, because you have to like line it up just right, then you have to pin it on, and then you have to like try to stitch it so you can't see where the stitches are. And I really loved that dinosaur a lot, and I could see making those. I could see making those for just the joy of it, for no other purpose than I want an army of dinosaurs. I was even thinking about taking regular old yarn and making, you know, a smaller version of that amigurumi, or a really colorful dinosaur. So, alright, that is it for the crafting section of this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Now I'm going to talk about personal, I'm going to talk about my health update, I'm going to talk about like whatever else has been going on this week. For the channel coming up this week, I don't really know what I have planned. I've been just, for the past several months, pretty much since I started homeschooling, I have been just flying by the seat of my pants. I have been taking it week by week or day by day in most instances on what I am able to do to provide content for the channel, and I'm learning to be okay with that. So tomorrow I do have Happy Mail that I'm going to open. I'm probably going to open that today, film that today, so that that is done, because I'm recording all of this on Saturday, and tomorrow in my world is Easter Sunday. I'm not doing anything except celebrating Easter with my family, doing Easter baskets, an Easter egg hunt, and cooking a delicious Easter dinner for my kids. That is my plan for that. And today, of course, I have to clean the kitchen, clean the dining room, get things, but my husband's really good at helping me clean, so that's not even an issue. My kids also help me clean, and well, Juju has to work this weekend, so we'll see. You ever get an itch just like right on the edge of where your eyelashes are, and like there's not a good way to scratch that? Like, why is it itch right there? Alright, so life update. Like I said, there may be a Joann's haul in the future if I can. I really do want to go to a couple of Joann's today. I think that would be fun. I think little man would enjoy being out of the house, because he's been in the house for about 3 weeks. We go out here and there, but it's been a whole lot of just being in the house. So I think he would probably enjoy that, and I could just go on the lookout for some of the posh yarn. Really would like to find the hot pink one. And I wouldn't mind another one of these oranges, because this orange is beautiful. So maybe we'll do that today. Maybe that will be a video on Wednesday. I also ordered the new cotton yarn from Premier to do a review. So that's a review video that will be coming up when that gets delivered. It hasn't shipped yet, so I don't know if that will come this week or next week. So there, that's channel update. Okay, life update. There's not a lot going on. This week I spent 2 days being sick, and I spent 3 days working on amigurumi, and we're gearing towards the end of homeschool. He is 2 weeks away. He graduates 5th grade on the 28th. So his last 2 classes are on April 28th, and he will be graduating 5th grade almost 2 months ahead of schedule, which is insane to me. And it's like we're rounding out the month, and I don't know how the summer is going to look. I don't know if I'm going to homeschool him during the summer. I don't have any of that figured out yet. I am thinking about doing homeschooling, but not formal homeschooling for the summer, so that we just keep him on track with things, because I really don't want him to have 4 months off of school. I don't think that's beneficial for anybody. But I think we need to swerve and do something more fun and educational. And I'm excited about all that entails. I have to get all of my testing and grading situated and provide that to the school board for approval that he did fine this year, which I'm not worried about that at all. And then eventually I have to resubmit that we are going to plan on homeschooling again next year. because by the time the deadline for saying we're gonna homeschool again next year, I don't think we will be moved out of the house by August 1st. Because like we still have to put the house on the market. There's a lot of things that still need. I don't think we're honestly going to be able to move until the fall, which, I mean, it all takes time, right? And we're just trying to get things done a little bit at a time. What was I going to say? Oh, we have to pick 6th grade classes for him. And him and I are talking about him taking Spanish because he is Mexican. I think it would be good for him to at least learn the basics of that language. In case you don't know, my husband is part Mexican, my children are part Mexican, so Spanish. We're also going to take like U.S. geography. I don't remember what else I had planned, but like that's what we're doing. Probably going to do a double science curriculum with him again because he really loves the science. And all I need to figure out is an English curriculum that he will enjoy, that he doesn't hate, that is not boring. And, you know, English is not, him and I don't really care for English. And it's funny because my daughter loves English. So anyway, there's that, the homeschool. That's a wrap up of that. We're gearing towards the end of the year and figuring things out, and it's been real chill. He's been doing some of the work on his own for the first time, and yeah, it's been kind of nice because he's far enough along where he's like, all right, I got this. I got this. Math is easy. I understand. Like, it's not a big deal. Now, health update. Aside from me being really sick for 2 days, I kind of came to the conclusion, because my son was sick yesterday, and that was my wind chime telling me that it is still out of tune and I need to go look at it because I haven't done that yet. Brain, turn back on. Everything went black. I thought maybe me being sick Tuesday, like I think it was Tuesday and Wednesday, I was real sick. And on Wednesday I didn't get out of bed I got up. I did homeschooling and went back to bed, and then I didn't get up till 5 in the afternoon, and I still went to sleep at 10 and slept real hard that night, and that is not normal for me. I don't sleep well. I don't sleep during the day at all. And if I do, it's like I take a little 15-minute nap, and like my brain's like, all right, we're ready to go. Like the Energizer Bunny, I got recharged. So I knew I was real sick if I'm sleeping that much. Everybody in the house knew if Mom is sleeping, she's sick. And I thought, and it scared me, I thought maybe it was an effect of the shot. And in case you're new here, you don't know, I'm on a medication for weight loss / diabetes because I am a diabetic. And I am still only a month and a half into this medication, and there's a lot of things that are happening to my body that is new that I'm trying to get a grip on. I feel like once I got over being really sick, I felt good. I feel fine. I just am not hungry at all. And that's not a problem because I'm trying to lose weight. But I got really afraid that I got that sick from the medication. And then Friday in my world, my son woke up and threw up. And I was like, maybe I caught something and it's not actually an effect of the medication. Maybe I just was legitimately sick. And that's what I'm hoping for. I was kind of relieved that he got sick. And then my daughter woke up with a real bad migraine. She felt like she might throw up. And I was like, okay, maybe there's something in the house. And I just was sick. And it wasn't the medication. That's what I'm hoping for. Because while you're watching this, I'm taking another dose of the medication. I take it on Mondays. And I don't want to be that sick ever again. I don't like being sick. I have had illness and sickness and stomach-specific problems my entire life. There are long stretches of months on end where before I realized I could not eat gluten, my body does not do well with any gluten at all. I get really violently sick. Before I realized I couldn't eat gluten, I would have months on end where I would just be sick. and I would drop 50, 60 pounds, and I would look terrible, and I just couldn't eat, and like everything was, it was bad. And then once I realized I can't eat gluten, and I stopped eating it. It's been 4 or 5 years now. It was around the time of the pandemic I discovered this. I started to feel better for the first time in my life. So now when I get really sick like that, it scares me because it reminds me of my entire life of just being that violently sick all the time. And yeah, I don't like that. So there's some weird side effects with this medicine. I'm not going to go into all that, but I'm trying to adapt in a lot of ways to all the things that are changing with my body, and it's difficult. And I have days where I just don't feel good, specifically on the first 2 days I take the shot. There's just a lot that I'm trying to cope with. And when you already have chronic illnesses and you already don't feel good a lot of the times, and it's difficult. It's difficult. But I weighed myself this morning. I'm down 21 pounds, which means I've only lost 1 pound from the last check-in, which was, I think, I have only lost 1 pound in the past 2 weeks. And that boggles my mind how I've only lost 1 pound, because I'm barely eating and I was so violently sick. And I don't understand how I've only lost 1 pound in the past 2 weeks. But Mr. Cinnamon likes to say muscle weighs more than fat, and that you're building muscle, because I am working out when I can, when I'm not sick. I'm much more active. He also says, he likes to remind me that when your body goes into starvation mode because it thinks you're starving it, because I'm not eating, because I'm just not hungry ever, which is a wild feeling. Okay, it is a wild feeling to not ever feel hungry, because I don't know, that is not normal to me. I grew up with not enough food in the house, so it's like I always felt like I was hungry. It is a wild feeling to just not be hungry. And even when somebody's sitting next to me eating something that I think is a really good food, I'm like, My daughter was eating pickles yesterday, and all I had for the day was like, I took a little stack of a couple pieces of turkey deli meat. I snacked on that in the afternoon, so I didn't really eat a whole lot. And I was sitting next to her, and she was eating pickles. I love pickles. Pickles are good. Pickle flavored things, pickle is my jam, okay? She was eating pickles, and she's like, you want a pickle? I was like, no, not really. And then I sat there for about half an hour. She's still like snacking on the pickles. I was like, you know what, maybe I will take a pickle. The pickle was all this big. And I ate half of it. I was like, I don't really want this. Here, you want my pickle? And I gave her the rest of the pickle. It was just I'm not hungry. It is really weird. I'm not complaining. I mean, I'm a little complaining because I really wish I had lost more than just 1 pound in the past 2 weeks. But it is what it is at this point. I just got to kind of ride it out and ride this roller coaster till we reach the end and go from there. But I am feeling pretty good today. I'm feeling happy, energetic. The violent mood swings have kind of calmed down a little bit. I'm not crying as often as I was with the first month. I was crying a lot. And I was really not feeling good most of the time. And the higher dose, I feel less symptoms, which is really weird. So, all of that. Everything is going okay. And that's all I can expect. I think that's really all I have to share today. That is pretty much my weekend wrap up. I have a lot of things to do around the house this week. This weekend probably too, but I'm gonna put it all off because it's Easter weekend. And yeah. I guess that's it. That's all I really have to share. Like I said, I showed you guys the shawl I'm working on. I don't really think I like that yarn. And no matter, I keep changing it and turning it into something new, and I'm like, I still don't like this yarn. I still don't want to work with this yarn. I still don't want to finish this project. And it would be beautiful if I would just work on the yarn. It's white and it's neon rainbowy colors. But I really think I'm going to frog it for probably the 4th or 5th time for this 2 balls of yarn that I put together. I think I'm going to frog it. I'm going to put it somewhere else. I'm going to do something different entirely and forget that that yarn ever existed, because I am not finding joy in that yarn. And with that, if you are interested in the eyeballs, I will link those to Amazon, because those are a lot of fun, and they look really ridiculously cute on stuffed animals. I mean, these were also in the pack, and these were more appropriate for the dinosaurs, but the ones where the 2 eyes are together are so cute on like the rabbit. Where's the rabbit? I just love the way that looks. I wish they were bigger, because I really like the idea of a big stuffed animal, but I really just, and this is a nose from Amazon too, but I don't remember when I bought those to even link those. And of course, like my other rabbits, you don't have to put eyes on them at all, and they're still cute. But with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you have a fantastic start to your week. Let's pray for good things this week. Let's hope that there's health, and that the medicine doesn't make me sick, and that there's good weather and good yarn in our hands and all those good things, and just let's try to make this a good week for all of us, right? Spread love and kindness and all those things. Go check out Hannah from the Cozy Cottage Crochet. She posted a video this morning, Saturday in my world. She got set yarn from Premier Yarns. She's an affiliate too. She got sent yarn from Premier Yarns to test out and compare against the Big Twist yarn from Joann's. And I really liked, she also talks very highly of me in her video. Which, I mean, I kind of like that. But she also talked really highly of Premier Yarns, and it's really cool because I know Premier Yarns front, side, and backwards. Like, I know it inside and out. And it was really neat to watch her experience yarns for the first time, and how excited she got working with them and touching them and feeling them, rubbing them on her face. Because, I mean, I can tell you guys every day how great Premier Yarns is, but I still occasionally will get someone who's like, oh, you're an affiliate, you get paid to do that. And yes, she's an affiliate too, but she's a pastor. Like, she has her own church. So you already know she's not going to lie to you. I'm just saying, go check her video out. She featured some of my favorite Premier Yarns, and I really liked watching her experience them for the first time. So with that, I will let you go, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.